three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
All right, welcome to a special edition of Teaching Crypto. Hit that like, subscribe, bell notification, super chats in the store are available. Share the show. Very special show today. 2 months before the Bitcoin halving. The altcoins are about to go crazy. I'm going to make some crazy predictions today on the show. Make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you follow. And I'm going to double down on some predictions Mr. FOMO doesn't even know about today on the show. Mr. FOMO, two things I want to talk about. One, I think Bitcoin is doing just fine. There were a few people that were bearish, but I think I'll be honest with you. These people are either brand new to the space and have no idea how this works, like we were 3 years ago. Fortunately, we didn't get in before the beginning of the last cycle. Or they're intentionally trying to get clicks and attention and making some crazy predictions about Bitcoin going down to 40K, guys. We're here to tell you it is not happening. Bitcoin is actually doing amazing. And you might say, amazing. It's got rejected several times at 53. What are you talking about? Well, right now, we're holding steady around 51. And unless we go below 49 over the next 10 days, I think things are looking great. And I still anticipate a gigantic March. And I'm going to hold on to what I said before. I do expect Bitcoin to hit 60K before April 1st, and I feel strongly about it.
And you do have, I mean, you were mentioning 49K. You can see right there that there seems to be a level of resistance and support at 51.2, 51.3. And so, you know, and you can see that it has gone down to that level and bounced a couple of times already. So if it goes down to that level and bounces again, I can see this, you know, remaining here, chopping sideways, or maybe even going back up. But like you said, there's a lot of strength. We've been building a lot of, we've been at these levels for a little bit now, for a few weeks. And right below us, we have levels of strength. And below that, there are levels of strength. But one thing that people keep pointing out is that there aren't a lot of levels of resistance above us. You know, once we get into the 50, 60 range, you really don't have a lot of history there on the charts. You know, when we talk about history, we're really talking about recent history or a brief period during the last bull run. And so right now, the excitement, I think, should be when this thing bounces is how easily can it break through some of these glass ceilings that exist in the 50s and 60s, because historically, we just haven't sat there long enough. And so I think the only thing that really gets in the way is those psychological levels at like 55, 60, 65. And then you get into 70, 75, 80, where we really have no history. And I could see it just, I mean, we could see explosive growth from there because there aren't a lot of selling points. Now, I did mention psychological levels. You will have people that are selling at a lot of levels. We've also mentioned 90 to 100K when we talked about selling. And so there are people that have their targets, but by and large, I don't see a lot of people really getting rid of their portfolios or getting rid of their BTC in their portfolios for a long time now. And that is backed up by the data too. You have data that shows that a lot of the wallets have held their BTC for over, 5-6 months now. And so these are people who are planning on making a bull run. These are people who are planning on taking their profits way down the line. And I'm confident in that statement. I'm confident when I say that we're probably, once we explode through these last few levels, we probably got a pretty sharp upside.
So did you see what I just did? I just flipped to the monthly. Always zoom out. And the monthly, you know, it's easy to forget how low we were in the monthly. Remember that 38.5, 39 area? That was just a month ago. Doesn't that seem like ages ago?
It seems like an eternity ago. I think we just watched the charts too much because it seems so long ago now.
Well, here's the thing. At some point, 51 will seem like a month ago.
Mr. Slim is back.
Mr. Slim the Litecoin enthusiast. No, Mr. Slim, it's not time yet. We'll let you know when it's time. There's only very specific time to open up Litecoin, but there are some tokens today that it is in season 4 that are on huge discount, and we want to make sure you guys don't miss out for entertainment purposes only. So we love Bitcoin here. Don't listen to any of the noise about negativity in the next 2 months. We're only going higher, right? Yes, we may hit 49. It's possible, but again, honestly, before May 1st, I think we might challenge 70. I'm not positive we'll get over 70, but I think, really, really good, feel good about 60 and then at least 66 in April. So we'll see if I'm correct here. Jasmy, we talked about not chasing pumps. Well, sometimes it's not easy to tell when something is beginning to pump or needing a cool down. And Jasmy has been on fire, right? So I'm going to show you here a lot of buying, but really this chart here, Mr. FOMO, if I go to the 7-day, look at that. I mean,
and this is just something we talked about the other day when it was only up 30%.
Yeah.
I really like this. They call it Japan's Bitcoin. It's the idea behind it is data democratization. I really like this project, but mostly because of how much hype it gets in Japan. And right now, Japan's economy is running. Their markets are at not an all-time high, but their markets are about as good as they were in the 80s. Now, in the 80s, their markets saw a huge pullback after a boom, but right now the Japanese market is booming, and so anything that is linked to the Japanese market is going to boom as well, and that's Jasmy. They call it Japan's Bitcoin. It has a great idea behind it. They've got a great team behind it. The founder was president of Sony, so there's a lot of good reasons to be into this project. And like I said, when Japan's market is running, this project will see a lot of.
Now, I normally don't like to chase a pump, but I have a hard time believing this is not at least going to hit 2 cents before a pullback here. I mean, look at the volume, and you got to understand this market cap at some point was in the 300s earlier this week. The volume is 1.63 billion for a market cap that's below 1 billion. That's insane volume there. I don't love the circulating supply, but it doesn't matter. Now, if you believe in this, if you do your research, and Mr. FOMO, you did a deep dive on Jasmy, we might want to put that in the description of the show so people can go back and watch, even though it's pretty old. You might think to yourself, man, there's no reason to buy now. It's too late. But if you believe in it for the entire bull run, if I click to the all-time, now look, you see, and this proves my point that I've been saying for years on the show. It's not what you buy necessarily, it's when you buy it. And that's going to lead us into my next token that I'm going to tell you guys is on amazing sale that is almost too good to be true for the next couple months.
So we had a question. We had a question about where you can get Jasmy. You can get Jasmy on Coinbase. So my assumption is
it's everywhere.
You can pretty much get it anywhere now. And so if you want to get Jasmy, go ahead and snag it.
Yeah, it's very easy to get a hold of internationally and in the United States, and that's what that kind of leads to over 1 billion. If things are really hard to get, it's hard to get volume sometimes well over 1 billion consistently for several days. That's not one of them. Now, we talked about things being on sale. Mr. FOMO, while I get the next chart up, you want to explain why alts sometimes bleed when there's fear about Bitcoin possibly going down, even though it really doesn't go down?
Well, when there's fear, people are going to jump out of the riskier assets quicker. And that's altcoins, especially in this market. I mean, when you consider the crypto market versus other markets, it's the riskier of all the markets. But then you consider altcoins, and those are even more risky than Bitcoin or Ethereum. You're going to see people with itchy trigger fingers on those. And when you look on Coinbase and some of these other exchanges, and they tell you the average hold time of some of these coins and tokens, they're going to tell you the average hold time is sometimes as little as 1 to 3 days. I mean, people are holding these for less than a week. And so people are already sketchy about investing in these, and they already move to get rid of them as soon as possible. And so when you hear some fear, when you hear that Bitcoin could be making a huge retrace, and you're one of those people that doesn't pay attention to the market, you're not paying attention to teaching crypto, you're going to have that itchy trigger finger, and you're going to pull the trigger on that sale as quick as possible when you hear that noise.
Now, I made a prediction that Solana would hit 200 in early April, and guess what? I'm going to stick to it. And you might, Mr. AZcrypto, you are crazy. 105. What are you doing? We've retraced. We have, but we've built so much strength in the low 100s right now. And when this turns, and it will, when Bitcoin turns, this thing is going to go on a massive run. I'm not sure I would wait for financial purpose only to 200 take profits. I would look in the 170 to 180 area. But I do feel strongly that this is going to hit 200 definitely before we get a major. I still think we get a major retracement in May, sometime right before the ETH ETF date. But I still, as much as I love Bitcoin over the next 2 months, I really love Solana. And you're getting it here in the low 100s. It was 101, barely above 101 the other day, late at night. Getting it here in the 105s is still great. Remember, there's going to be some shakeouts. There's never going to be a straight line up. And so this one, getting it at 105 and knowing that it could easily hit 180. Now, it looks, it actually, that should make you excited because it's on sale. Now, remember we talked about it's all a matter of time, right? So if I pull back on the monthly, look how green it turns, right? If I pull back on the yearly, look how this is done compared to most of the other tokens. It's done a 5x even with the retracement. Now, if you believe in this for the next 12 months, you should still feel pretty good because look, this is the all-time chart. So again, it's really about perspective. It's when you do something, not necessarily when you what you do, right? So if you wait till Jasmy goes to 3 cents and it has a major retrace and you're sitting on it for a month, not a good idea. Obviously, if you bought Jasmy a couple days ago, good idea, right? So yeah, I mean, everyone should be jealous of Sol, but that all-time chart shows you that if you believe it's going to do great things in this cycle, 200 is going to be easy to reach. Whether it gets there in late April or it doesn't happen until September. And Mr. Slim, we're going to have you on for that Litecoin show as a special guest later in the spring when it's actually time to buy Litecoin, but you're super early for that.
Yeah, and you know, in the bear market, looking at that chart that you showed of Solana where it was going down, in the bear market, that would be an ugly thing. You wouldn't really be, you know, unless your goal was accumulation. If you were day trading in the bear market, which I don't recommend, but if you were day trading or you were swing trading in the bear market, that kind of a chart, I don't know if you would be necessarily excited about that until it leveled off a little bit more. But we're only 8 weeks out from the halving event. And so what you're looking at there is an opportunity. It's not an opportunity you're going to have to wait long for either. If you bought that in the bear market, that's an opportunity you're waiting for. You're going to sit on that for a while. But right now, if you're able to get some deals on altcoins, this is the best time to snap them up because your returns are going to come within the next 8 weeks. And then beyond, you're going to see even better returns. But like AZcrypto said, it's not going to go straight up. But don't get emotional.
Now is the worst time.
We've done our research. You've done your research. You know that this thing is about to pop off. Stick with it. You know, do your accumulation, do your shopping right now. Get your bags filled because we're about to go.
Yeah, now is the worst time to sell. I keep saying it for entertainment purposes only. I have to say that, but this is not the time to be selling Bitcoin. We haven't even talked about ETH because that's on the magical staircase to 4K in the next 30 days. That you don't want to sell right now. Don't sell your ETH. Don't sell your Bitcoin. If it goes down 2 or 3% in one day, so what? Remember, there is a lot of leverage trading. People get greedy, and those people get liquidated. So you could see Bitcoin hit 49K. You could see ETH go back to 2,800. But, I mean, you zoom out, 30 to 40 days, ETH's at 4K, Bitcoin's at 60. Why in the world will you sell? Why in the world would you sell Solana at 105 when the trajectory is well above 150 into 200 in the next 30 to 45 days? So you just gotta think ahead. But remember, you do have to take profits. You can't hodl forever. That's where this show is different than the others. And please hit that like and share our show, because we're keeping it real. We're not telling you guys to hold these things forever, because that's not a realistic outlook. That's not what this is, right? That's not why you're here. So
there will be an opportunity for a pullback after the halving event. You know, we've showed you the charts. We've shown you the history of Bitcoin. We've shown you the history of the halving events. There is going to be an opportunity for a pullback, whether it's the Halloween indicator, whether it happens right after the halving, whether it happens right before the halving. There's going to be an opportunity for a pullback again. So if you feel like you want to take profits coming soon, you could take a little bit off the table, wait for that pullback, and then go right back in. But I don't think selling your whole bag or liquidating your whole portfolio is probably the right way to go. Now, altcoins, because of the nature of altcoins, like we talked about earlier, people don't hold them that long. I would play with those a little bit more than I play with my Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, when you know that you're coming to a point where you might want to take profits on Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's probably a good idea to take a look at your altcoins too.
Absolutely. And I would also say this, remember, you don't want to be buying in April when things are heated. That's when I kind of feel like retail, when Bitcoin gets close to 65 and all-time highs, you're going to see even after the halving, you're going to see even more retail. Well, right before the halving, excuse me.
You're going to see a lot of people who don't understand
come in and then feel horrible in May when things sell off. And so that's what I believe will happen. But again, we could be wrong. That ETH ETF in May might push things back, like this Bitcoin ETF. It pushed your holiday indicator back, the holiday whole month. So hold up on that. But I do know 2 months into the halving, that's not when I would be selling. And don't be freaked out by a day or two in the red. For MrFOMO, this is AZcrypto. Don't forget to hit that like, bell, notification, subscribe, share our show. Help us get to 2,000. Have a great day, everybody.
See you.